I grew up in a Christian family and attended Sunday school from preschool up to primary 7, and then attended the youth groups, including YF. And I remember life seemed so simple then, everything was black and white, and it's amazing how much life experience has challenged those first beliefs that I had. I would say I chose for myself when I was about 12 or 13 to follow Jesus and made that conscious decision. There wasn't a life-changing moment, more a gradual awareness, and I'm really thankful that I've always known God in my life, and I don't remember a time when he wasn't there. My best friend and I did church together. There was a group of us to start with, but gradually people stopped coming as we got older. We kept going and we fingerspelled to each other during the sermons when we were bored, and we played in the praise band. We played for years and years, and I ended up leading it for a number of years. And I believe that's one of the things that kept me going to church, was my love of music. I enjoyed going to Spring Harvest as well, and really I've always found that when I'm surrounded by other Christians, I find it strengthens my faith. When it came to the age of 17, I had to decide what I wanted to do in the future, and I found it really difficult, but I knew I wanted to do something medical. And when I made my choices of universities, I put all medical things on my UCAS list, but I stuck religious studies in at the bottom because I quite like that at school as well. Later, I was told by the doctors at the hospital that my eczema was too bad to do anything medical, and it wouldn't like washing my hands and everything all day, and they said to try and choose something else. So I ended up doing religious studies at New College in Edinburgh. I really enjoyed my degree, and I was surrounded by Christians again because lots of ministers trained at New College, and I got really involved in the music there. Ended up leading the music, playing the organ, playing the piano for the choir, and really enjoyed it. When it came to finishing my degree, I wasn't sure what to do next, and I remember speaking to an older and wiser friend and just saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I wondered about doing future study, but I was saying I felt really young and I didn't feel clever enough. And that night I went home, and my Bible reading, there were 2 of them that night, and one of them was in Exodus when Moses was saying, I'm not clever enough, Lord, send somebody else. And Jeremiah was saying, I'm too young, send someone else as well. So I kind of felt that spoke to me that night. Went back and spoke to my older and wiser friend the next day, and she agreed I should definitely look into it. So I remember I emailed the professor and told him the Bible quotes and everything. It's funny thinking back about how blunt I was, and he said I should do a Masters of Theology, and this involved a placement in the Deaf Church, which was a whole new experience and opened up so many doors and so many new connections. I met some amazing people, so that was really good. After this, I studied to be a teacher of religious studies and did this for about 10 years. During that time, I was really involved in my local church and was on the board, the session, leading the house group, the youth group, leading the praise band, and then eventually being the organist as well. And I was very immersed in church life, and it got quite overwhelming at times, which is why nowadays I tend to say no rather than yes when people ask me to be involved. When I met John a few years later, we got married quite quickly and moved to Falkirk. I still kept going to my local church, but I really felt that God was calling me to look for a church in my local area. So that was really difficult, leaving behind the church family that I'd grown up with and finding somewhere new. John is not a Christian, but came with me to different churches, and it was the old minister from the previous church that recommended I got in touch with the Mann family, and I'm so grateful for that friendship. That really helped me to settle in Brighton's. So I still find it really strange that I live in Falkirk. My mum used to bring us here when we were wee to do some shopping. I still can't believe that I live here. I've retrained as a teacher of the deaf and I work in Falkirk now. I've met some of the people again that I worked with during my placement at New College, and this, although I didn't want to do this talk at first, it has been really good for me to reflect on my faith. And this past year has been quite tough for me, and it's made me realise it's because I'm not surrounded by other Christians. I'm not in the Christian community. I find it difficult to communicate with people over Zoom, and I can't wait to get back into the church, meeting other people, and I also can't wait to see where God leads me next.